Hey guys, ILene Vick here for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. It is Tuesday, July 20th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and I am live. Oh my gosh, so good to see everybody once you get in the room. We have lots of fun. I'll be here for the next 3 hours. Hello, Dorothy. Good to see everybody that can make it in. Dorothy, say something to me so I know that I can see comments. There's Anne. There we go. Thank you, Anne. Hello back to you. Yay. Oh my gosh, it only took me 3 starts. So welcome to everybody. Welcome to those of you who come into the room. We love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Welcome to my people who lurk and watch. Would love to have you come in. But hey, as long as you're learning something, that's cool. And welcome to my YouTube viewers. This broadcast goes to video on Facebook, and I upload it to YouTube as well. So lots of opportunities. Okay guys, so I got a couple things I want to show you, but before I do that, I want to remind you, be here tomorrow, because I'm going to color a project, but I'm going to have it done totally by you guys. So whatever you guys tell me as far as coloring, that's what I'll do. So we'll have a lot of fun with that. I thought that would be a fun little thing to do. We'll have lots of giggles and laughs over that. And I thought that would be cool. Okay, Happy Mail. Let's see here. So, I got in... These are the refills to my Tombow eraser, which I absolutely love. Just showing you because it came in the mail. And this is for my little teeny tiny eraser. I am back, Rhonda. I am back. This is for my little Mono Zero eraser that I use. I love it. I can erase in small places. And I have it on the supply list. Okay. And Rhonda tells me my broadcast is level 6 and clear. Good. Volume is 6 and I'm clear. Good. I need to know that. Now remember, in the affiliate list, I put little hearts by stuff that I feel is critical, and this is for people that are new, and it's for people that maybe didn't realize it would be a good idea to have some of these things. So that information is there for you. Okay, so I got these, and then the other thing that I got in, whoops, the other thing that I got in, oh, and you found the supply list today. Good. Did you see the hearts with it? Now that supply list, we get a few pennies percentage off the sale. It doesn't cost you anything extra at all. Okay, these are, woo, my ladybugs. And there are supposed to be, which there are, 3 sizes. A large, a medium, and a small. Let me get these little guys corralled. Hold on, let's make sure I got the medium here. Who knows? Oh, so Ann, as I was saying, we get a small, there we go, there's a medium. We get a small percentage off the sale, and I plow that money right back into the group to buy things like these ladybugs. So you get a large, a medium, and a small. I think there's like, I don't know, 200 pieces or 400 pieces. And what's really funny, they obviously make little bumblebees with the same plant because I got a little, oh no, this is a yellow one. So this is a yellow ladybug. And I was showing you my yellow ladybugs. Zoom in. Zoom in. So that was ladybugs that I got that were different colors, and they were all the medium size. So this will be on the list tonight. Give me a chance to get them on there. And let me corral these into my bag. And I have been waiting for these particular sizes because I want to show you something. So give me a second here while I grab my book. There we go. Okay, you guys all remember that project. Zoom out. Whew. There's another bug in there. Hold on, let me make sure my bag is empty. Okay, so what I like to do, as you know, is I like to add little extras to my pieces, and I encourage you to do the same without getting stupid about it. So what I want to do is show you an example of me doing that. Now, when you add things to your pages, okay, I always tell you do it discreetly and do it within the context of what you're doing. So I'm going to get my glue. Get my glue. You can see where this is going, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the little sticky off the back. Do not depend on the sticky that you get with stuff. And I'm going to take the teeniest, tiniest ladybug. And I'm going to pop it in, let's see, in the tree on one of the lighter colored leaves. Zoom in. Let me adjust my camera just a little bit. And I'm going to take another little ladybug, and I'm going to put that on the chair, maybe crawling up one of the legs. You see that? So here's the point. If you're not out there glaring in front of you, And when the person is looking at this picture, they will discover it. And that's the key point that I want to make here. You don't want to put things on your pieces that glare out at you that could be out of context. So if you were looking at this picture, zoom out, it would take you a little bit to find it. Everybody seeing my point here? Now, you guys also know when I put on rhinestones and stuff, even though they have sticky, I still put glue on them. Because you don't want your stuff falling off, okay? So let's go ahead and get this first little guy on here. So there's the first one. Actually, I'll turn him so he's facing up, him or her. And then the second one here, I'm going to put right on the chair of the leg. Zoom in. And what I always do is when I glue something down, I press it into the glue. In other words, I don't just leave it on the surface. Zoom out. So what do you guys think of that? Do you like it? Two little teeny tiny pieces. Nothing to, jump out at you, but the point is that when a person is looking at the piece, they discover it. Now, if you wanted to play around with this a little more, let me show you something here. Oh, and here are my other ladybugs that come in different colors. That's that one ladybug that you saw. These are the medium sized. So I actually ended up ordering 2 packets. So these are in different colors. Okay. So the other thing I want to show you is I got these little stickers, or different stickers, they're rub-ons. And I used it once before on another image that I did. So these are transfers, and it was funny because the night that I did these, I wasn't exactly sure how to use it, and now I got to remember again. All right, so I've got this little bunny rabbit here, Now, again, don't get stupid with your stuff. Don't put it on, you know, just to put it on. Everything should have a reason, okay? And I've got to remember how to do this, so I need you to bear with me here. You can laugh at me while I'm doing this. There we go. Okay, so what you do is you peel the back off of it. See that? And then you've got this piece left here. And I don't know if you can see this in the camera, but it's got like a little bit of glue on there. And what I thought would look cute is to just go ahead and put this little bunny by the basket. So I'm going to put him right there. Zoom in. Zoom in. And then what you want to do is just take the back of a pencil and rub that on there. And then you want to gently peel off the plastic. There you go. Zoom out. Now, as you can see, they're a little thin, and you can see that little bit of grass, so what? Let me play with something here. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm peeling away, zoom in, zoom in, following the outline of the grass on the bunny. I'm taking my pencil point in green and I'm pushing away the transfer. And that way it looks like the bunny is behind the grass and in front of the suitcase. Zoom out. Isn't that cool? Zoom out. So I wanted to show you that, a little addition. Zoom out. I want you to be very, very classy with your add-ons, okay? So what do you think? Excuse me. Oh my gosh, excuse me. And I even have a little nut here. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. And I'm going to go ahead and add that to my tree. There you go. Zoom out. So there are some ideas for you. Zoom out. I want you to see that everything is very low key. And tasteful. I think we're good. Questions, comments, yay, nay? Oh my. I want to give you these ideas so that you can have fun with it. Alright, let me close my bag and we'll get to the subject at hand. So that was a little mini tutorial for you. Give me a second here. All right, we're done with that. Any questions before I move this? And remember, I put my little pebbles on the hat here to decorate the hat. Teeny tiny pieces. All right, so let's get that. The next thing that I got that I wanted to show you is I got this little holder. Walmart was selling them, but I got mine off Amazon. Let me get that open. And I got bright pink so I could see the silly thing. And what it does, it's got little rubber thingies in here. And what I'm going to use it for is I'm going to put my pencils into it as I'm using them. Everybody see that? So that way I won't lose track of all my pencils. You know me, as I'm coloring, they squirt away on me. And this is another thing that I will be putting on the list. And the thing is, it is advertised as a holder for stuff. Lipsticks, you know, tweezers, whatever. And they put a little picture of pencils in there. I suspect that after they realized that that's what people were using them for, they added that picture. So I found out that you've got to put them point down, because otherwise you're going to be wrestling with it. So that goes in there, and that way I have no excuse for losing my pencils. Alright. And I need you guys to bear with me for a second. I need to run and get something if you don't mind. So if you guys would let me do a BRB. It is 7:38. I'll give you something to look at, and I will be right back. Dawn, hello. I am back. Thank you guys for your patience. Thank you, Dawn. Yeah, they are great, aren't they, the birds? I'm glad you love the birds singing. Hey, I need to corral you so we can do a project together. No, this is from a SteamPunk magazine. But we can call them Oliver Twist. This is from Coloring Heaven SteamPunk. And for those of you that don't know Dawn, she's an artist, illustrator of coloring books. She is a group moderator. Very, very supportive of this group. See, I just got to start thinking about people a lot. You're the fourth person now that I've been thinking about, and all of a sudden they pop in. Dawn, you need to let me know when we can do a coloring project tomorrow together. I know you've been so busy at the farm, and I really haven't been pestering you. So you need to let me know when you are ready and able to do it. No, I want to do a coloring project with you. That's what I said. I know you've been busy at the farm. You know that our color-alongs are fun. Alrighty, guys. Okay, so I take it that that's a yes. Alright, now tomorrow I'm going to be pulling up a piece, and I've invited my group to direct my coloring. So my hand will be on the pencil, but the group is going to tell me what colors they want me to use. So that ought to be fun. Okay, guys. So Dawn, if that sounds good, let's get together again and work up a project. I know you've got your new book that you're working on, so we can coordinate all that. Oh, I know you weren't yelling. Or yetling, as you said. So yeah, everybody welcome Dawn Denise Boyer. Again, she's an admin of this group. She has been a very huge supporter of it. And we have a lot of fun together. Listen, Dawn, do you see the freckles that I even put on his arm? Zoom in. Zoom in. I want you to see these freckles, Dawn. I mean, that's, you know, this is what I'm teaching my peeps. Hi, Jennifer. So we've been having a good time with this little fellow. I've got one more thing that I need to do. I have to do his buttons, but I gotta wait now because I've got, yeah, they do look real, don't they? Yeah, exactly. I do need to do, I need to put freckles on his nose. You're right. Here, sit tight, Dawn, and I'll do that. All right, so let's get a few on his nose. There you go. Zoom out. And I will have you know, Dawn, that I even did one of these freckles red, because you know how they show up on the skin red? Thank you, Jennifer. I'm glad you like it. So my peeps are learning good things. All right. So let's get a background for him. Yours look olive green in the sun. Yeah. Are you able to hang around for a while, or what are you doing? Okay, I got these keys. They're metal keys. I was showing them to you the other day, and I thought it was even cool that they put this little cloth in there. So they come in different sizes, and like I said, I'm really impressed that these puppies are metal. So I'm going to play with the background for you. Give you some ideas. They are metal, Dawn. Metal. And my little gears, zoom in. I got a bag of gears. That's metal as well. Zoom out. Oh, gonna sneeze. Oh, 2 tonight, not 3. Okay, so you know I've got my box of my little French curves and my protractors. Thank you, I do feel blessed. All right. Ooh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line there. Zoom in. And I measured this to be 5 inches. And then I'm going to eyeball the width, which is fine. And I'm going to make that 5 inches. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bottom on there. And I'm going to take my handy dandy. Oh yeah, have I seen what Maddie's been doing? Yeah, she's using a coloring book. And then she is taking pictures of the family and scrapbooking the pictures on top of, yeah, backdrops to her scrapbook photos. Excuse me a second, guys. I need to use a tissue. That's right. She saw that book that I was demonstrating and she got it and she's been going to town with it. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm going to take my Sharpie pen and I'm going to fill that in. If you make a little bobble on it, so what? Yeah, and it was funny because she was talking about the project and what she was doing was she was coloring the whole page and then she was covering it up with pictures. So she said, I finally realized that I needed to put the pictures on first and then color around it. Oh, it's so funny what we all learn when we're coloring. Zoom out. Okay, now I've got some twine. This is just regular So Dawn says it's really more fun to color the whole illustration first though. You never know what you'll use on the finished coloring. Yeah. But I think the flip side of that discussion is you never know what color the pictures are going to be, and then you can go, you know, that they're pasting on there, and then you can go ahead and color accordingly. Okay, so this is ordinary twine. You can pick it up at Walmart. You know, it's that coarse stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of that. And I'm going to thread it through the hole, if it's big enough. It should be, depending on the size key that I pick. How's the heat where everyone is? It's 101 heat index in Virginia this weekend on Saturday, and I was painting the side of the barn. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, so I'm going to tie my little string on here. I should have left myself a little more, but that's okay. And I'm going to make a bow with this. Get your sides even. Now the nice thing about twine is that it holds on itself really well. I think I want my bow just a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to attach it to my black line and have a hanging key there. I don't know what the heat index is. It's 77 right now. We've been having a lot of rain. Zoom out. So I'm going to put my glob of glue at the bottom there. And I'll put my bow in there. And again, guys, remember, press whatever you're gluing into the page. And then I'm just going to let that sit for a few minutes. I think I'm going to put a little more glue on there. And I'm going to let the glue, I'm going to let the key hang loose. And I'm not worried about the glue at all, because that will dry clear. Zoom out. But I am going to pick up a little bit of the glue. And I'm just going to put a little dab of it. Zoom in. I'm going to put a little dab of it on the cord because I don't want it to fray any further. So we'll go ahead and do that. Same down here, little dab of glue. A little dab will do ya. And when I put it in there, on there, guys, I'm going to work it into the twine. Don't just let it sit on top. There we go. Zoom out. Zoom out. And yeah, I could put a length of rope down the black stripe too. Helen says I could put some marks in the black line to indicate string. Yeah. Some people, Dawn, about sharing, I don't know, it's weird. They've had problems. Hello, Dorothy. Now, Helen has an excellent suggestion if you want to make that look like twine. If, you know, Dawn mentioned about taking the twine and putting it down the black line. I love it when you guys think of these things. Zoom out. Okay. Let's continue. Let us continue. And I'm specifically working with the black lines tonight and not putting any more rope design on here because I want that black to work with the dark part of this image. But I notice that you guys, more and more, you're coming up with ideas. Actually, Dawn, I'm going to leave the tails run free. And the only thing that I'm gluing is that little knot. Okay, so let's put another decoration in. So, zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm going from the 4-inch line mark to the 2-inch, and I'm going to go wider this time, eyeballing it. So don't get fussy about your lines being parallel. Zoom out. I thought you guys would like this. And again, just like Helen said, you can make that look like, you can color it in so it looks like the twine. And as Dawn mentioned, you can put twine down the center. But I'm going for this specific look. Dawn, I got the keys from Amazon. I'll be putting them on the affiliates list. I love them just like you do. I don't know if you saw yesterday, I got some starfish as well. And I got the ladybugs. Okay, now this is a big thick line, so I'm going to use a big thick key. And I will get my twine. I will not cut as short of a piece because I have bigger fingers and it was harder to tie the bow. So Dawn says I have a massive set of drawers with all sorts of scrapbooking materials and it's still all packed in boxes. See, I'm getting her thinking too. Alright, so let's get that key hanging. Just going to tie that once. Oh, you know what? No, I'm not going to tie it once. I'm going to show you something. I tied it 3 times. And you see how I've made this bulky knot? Oh my gosh. Speak much? No. At the top. See that length right here? And then I'm going to make a bow again. So see, I still should have cut more length. But you guys can laugh at me while I struggle with these bows. And then pull your little tails downward. Oh, can you imagine somebody just walking in right now and hearing me say, and pull your little tails downward? And then pull in your bow as much as you want, depending on the size that you want. Look at that. Here you go. So let me cut this one to about the same length. Now, guys, keep an eye out on which way your keys are facing, okay? Now, this one here, zoom in, is a teeny tiny key, so it doesn't matter. But if this were a bigger key, you want to watch which way your key part here is pointing. And my suggestion would be random with it. Don't have it all going left or right or whatever. So just please keep that in mind as well. All right. I love this twine, and I thought you guys would get such a big kick out of seeing this. So let me put my glop of glue on there. My glop of glue. And again, I'm going to use my little toothpick that has gone somewhere. Somewhere, my love. There it is. And not that I'm really worried about it showing, because it does dry clear. But I'm going to go ahead. I got a little too much glue on there, a little too enthusiastic. So what I'm going to do is scoop up that glue, and we'll glue up the knot. And then I'll go ahead and put my excess glue on the ends of my twine, just a little bit, and keep that from unraveling on me. And then just make sure that your bows are flat to the paper. Let's see which way this one, guys, wants to lean. There you go. Questions, comments about whether you feel you can do this or not? Would you do it? And again, I'm leaving my keys hang free. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Zoom out. And that shine will go away shortly when this glue dries. Zoom out. I want you to see how this whole piece now is starting to look. Now, again, guys, don't get stupid with your decorations, okay? You know, I keep telling you this. Don't add stuff just to add, okay? Now, let's play with the visuals with this a little bit. turn this. Zoom in. So my next line is going to be about there. I am not going to evenly space this. And I'm going to come over about this far, maybe a little thinner. And I want you to see this effect now that I'm putting in. Sharpie marker. Now we're going to lose the tips of our flowers a little bit. That's okay. You remember when I put the bow on the dragon and we lost the horns? Okay, Dawn. We'll get together on about the coloring contest. Love you, sweetie. Like I said, I've been staying out of your hair because I know you've been busy. Zoom in. Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay, so now it looks like there was a key here, but it went behind his head. I'm doing that on purpose. Alright, and I think I'm just going to play with one more line. Oh, didn't mean to do that. No, that's alright. And I've got this bar now coming down the right hand side. And then I'll close it off. Alright. I love those freckles on him. Zoom in. Zoom in. Now, I will remind you that Sharpie comes in, of course, different colors. So if you don't want to do this in black, right, you can do it in whatever color Sharpie has. Now, I know that some of you guys have issues with steadiness and holding pens like this. And if that's the case, just use a ruler while you're using your Sharpie. You know, use your protractor and run your Sharpie along the edge of that protractor. Zoom out. Zoom out. See how cool that looks, guys? All right, so here's a cute little key with a heart. These keys, guys, are absolutely wonderful. I mean, here's a really big, huge one. Yowza. I like it, but then it looks like I went from small to medium to large on here. So maybe I'll just go to this one here. And I'm going to turn the key looking inward. All right. Da-da-dum. So we'll get that little puppy strung. I'll put a couple knots in there. And then we'll go ahead and get our bow. See, guys, learning bows as a kid pays off, right? Zoom in. Zoom in. And we'll get that put on there. Now that bow is a little big, so I'm just going to pull it in just a little bit. Keep in mind, this is supposed to really be a background, so you don't really want that bow on top of your bag, right? If it ends up that way, no biggie. And you don't want your bow, yeah, see, this is going to end up on top of the bag. That's okay. That's why I said no biggie. All right, let's get our glue dabbled on there. Get that pressed in there. A little bit dabbed into the top. And then a little bit on the ends. Just to keep that from fraying. And then just move your key around just to make sure that that swings freely, because that to me is what makes it look cute. I mean, it's not going to wobble when you pick it up, but I did want to leave it swinging freely. Zoom out. All right, what do you think? Again, guys, don't get fussy with it. Have fun, okay? Hi, Angela. Now, I'm thinking about hanging a key from his belt. And I'm not going to put any string on that. I'm just going to put that key there because that's the implication. Zoom in. Zoom in. And what I want you to notice is I don't have the key hanging straight down. Hi, Kathy. You you want that to look like movement. So I'm going to move the key and angle it. Everybody notice that? That's important. I need you to think about these things. There we go. Now, if you can't touch your object because it keeps sticking to your fingers, take your toothpick and press it down that way. And then quit fussing with it, ILene. Okay. Hello, Kathy. Hello to anybody that I missed. Zoom out. Zoom out. So there's an idea for you. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit with the background. Let me put my keys away before I scatter them all over the place. Or drop them. I don't know about you guys, but when I stand up, I look in my chair and I find all sorts of little treasures that I've dropped. All right. There are some really neat pieces in this set, and I will have this set on the affiliate list tonight. Look at this key, guys. Isn't that cute? The little heart. I love it. So there's an idea for you there. Helen had the idea of making it look like twisty rope going down. Dawn had the idea of putting the twine on top of the line. Lots of neat things. Okay. So let's do one more thing with this, and then I'm calling this project done. And I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. That key belongs on a necklace. What, around his neck? Are you talking about around his neck or just like in general? me get my eyeshadows here. Be careful when you lay your box on top of your stuff. Oh, in general, okay. Although now that you mentioned it, I'll put a necklace around him with the twine. I think that would look cool. Why not? You guys up for that? You want me to do that? Let me show you how I would do that. The other option is we could go with a smaller key. I think I'm going to go with a smaller key. It'll look better. Let me think about that. Okay, so we'll use the key with the heart. Let's put a necklace on this guy. So what I'm going to do, and this is not cardstock, so this will be interesting. I'm going to poke a hole in the paper. On the two sides. And I managed to hide my twine on myself. Give me a moment. That'll teach me about not putting stuff away. Well, doggone it. Alright, I'll look for it while I'm doing this background. It'll show up. But basically what I'm going to do is I will string the key on the twine, poke it in the holes, glue it down, and we'll have it as a little necklace. I'm just hiding my twine from myself somewhere. Alright, so let's get the eyeshadow out. Put my scissors away. Anybody have any questions so far about what I'm doing? Alright, so I've got my little eye swab. You know I love those. Zoom in. Got my eyeshadow. Going to use a really nice light gray. Oh, found my twine. There we go. Yay. And we'll go ahead and do this background. Now, I'm going to use 2 shades of gray, a little bit darker next to him and then a little lighter as I'm going on the outside. We could do this with blues if you wanted to. So one side of my sponge I'm using on with the lighter gray, and then the other side the darker. And again, notice I can use the tip to get into my smaller spaces. Sorry for my hand in the way. Now, I don't mind the gray being a little uneven, kind of like a sky. Everybody see how I'm putting that on? Move this to the side. And notice how I'm moving in circular motions, like I said, to keep that nice and light. And if I get a splotch, like right there, all the better. Now I'm holding my finger on the key where I glued it, just to keep it from, the string from coming up. If it comes up, all I have to do is re-glue it. Zoom out. Everybody see how that gray is looking really nice on here. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, flip that key up. And yes, I'm putting gray underneath where the key lies. It's a nice little detail. The key will probably not slide away from there, but you still want that for the quality of your piece. And this rough stuff here is just where I tore the page out or pulled it out. Now, putting the gray underneath this key will make a difference. Zoom in, because you have an open area. Down. Now, for those of you that are relatively new to the group, I want to talk about how I label my videos when, you know, these broadcasts when they go to video. You'll notice on each description it says keywords, and then I put keywords in there. So for example, on this one, I'll put metal keys. So if you're looking for this broadcast, when it goes to video, you just need to type that in. Alright, let's get this bottom done. I hope you guys are enjoying this as much as I am. I love creating stuff like this. Alright, let's brush that off. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. And then I'm going to take a little bit of my darker gray and I'm going to shadow that closer. Be sure you blend it out. Just like your pencil stuff, guys, it's got to look natural progression. And also be sure that you get right close to your coloring. A lot of times people will put eyeshadow around their coloring and they'll leave a gap between the pencil and their eyeshadow. Zoom in. And that's because they're trying to be careful with it. Zoom in. Okay, I'm just going to use my finger right there. Oh, didn't mean to do that, but it's done. There we go. Oopsie. I am so transparent. I make a mistake, my naturals to go, oops. I gotta start chewing gum or something. Oh well. Rhonda says guilty as charged, but I'm getting better. So when you put your eyeshadow and you leave a white, yeah, I know you do. Don't feel bad. A lot of people do that. And we'll go ahead and darken around the fingers just a little bit there. Oh man. Zoom out. And again, you don't have to worry about blending it like super careful because you want those little imperfections in there. Zoom in. But you must blend it out with your next color, otherwise it's going to look bad. Okay? Same as with pencils, guys. Darkest right next to the edge. Lighter and lighter and lighter as you go out. Zoom out. There you go. And then just, if you want to touch up a couple spaces where you think you still need to put a little more, that's fine. Rita says, do you spray the paper before you put the eyeshadow? Yes, ma'am. Before I start any project at all, I spray my paper with the Fix Tiff. Okay, now I want you to notice something here. Zoom in. See this little feather right here? Zoom in. I'm going to put a little gray right around that tip. Where that curves out. See that? And again, guys, if you ask me a question and I don't answer it, ask me again. It just means I haven't seen it. Okay, Rhonda, you said at first I thought it was supposed to be that way. What, you mean with the gap? Zoom out. Zoom out. Oh man. I love it. I wasn't saying oh man to you, Rhonda. I was saying oh man to you, that I'm very happy with this piece. And again, just keep, if you want something darker, just keep layering and go back with your eyeshadow. Play with it. See how I'm putting the little streaks in here? Look at this. See that? There you go. Zoom in. Everybody see how I put those in with the tip of my sponge? I wanted to show you that. And Rhonda, since you got that grayscale book, that should show you some ideas for presentation and coloring. That grayscale book. Zoom out. Zoom out. All right. I like it. I like it. I love it. Let's get his necklace on there. Because I want to show you how I would do that, just in case you're wondering. Although based on what you've seen me do so far, I think you pretty well know what I'm going to do. I thought you guys, well, I hope you guys are getting a kick out of this twine. And the ideas with it. And I would say to you that none of this is wild. Alright, now give me a second because I'm having a little bit of a problem threading this. Okay, let's see what we can do here. If you need to, use a toothpick to push your twine through the hole, which is what I'm doing right now. There we go. I think I got everything. Zoom in. There we go, we got it. Okay, now you're going to want your key here to lay flat. And you can see that the charm, the thread goes front to back. So what we need to do is you tie a knot at the top, and you twist that around. See how that's laying flat now? Zoom in. See that? Okay, now make sure that your ends are not frayed. And what we need to do now zoom in. You need to poke your twine into the hole. Now, one of the things that you can do if it gets to be really problematic is take a little bit of your glue on your fingers and just glue that down. I tried using saliva, but that didn't work. Whatever you need to do to get that in there. And let that dry just a little bit. And we'll put a little bit of glue on the other end. And twist that tighter. I hope you guys are finding this interesting. All right, let's see if that, and also, if you have to, carefully make your hole a little bigger. There we go. But try not to get too big if you can help it. And my question to you guys is, on your colorings, have you ever threaded something on it like I'm doing? Okay, now we need to decide where we want the key. Zoom out, zoom out, and I'm thinking that I want it to hang pretty low. What do you think? As opposed to closer to the neck. Quick pull, close to the neck or hanging down. I actually like it hanging down. Rhonda says low. Okay, yeah. And notice how that key now is laying flat because I put the knot in there and twisted it a little bit. Okay, so we can go what? About there. All right. So I'm going to flip this over. Now you have to make sure this is going to hang the way that you want. And whether you need to tighten up one side or the next. Oh, Chrissy doesn't like it over the strap? Okay. Kathy says low? Alright. So I'm going to flip this little puppy over, and you can see where my string is here. Now, you would think to use tape, right? You don't want to do that because as tape ages, it can turn gray, and it might end up coming through the paper. You know how sometimes on photographs and stuff you see things and that tape comes through? So I'm going to go ahead and just put a line of glue on here. And plop that string in there. Do not use tape, guys. Now, because I'm going to flip this over to show you the other side, I'm going to get a little piece of paper and just stick that on there. And that way it won't stick to my surface when I flip it over. That's the only reason I'm putting that on there. Otherwise I'd have to wait. So there's a little tip for you about the tape, yeah. Now, if you don't like the little bulge in the string, which really doesn't bother me, but I want to show you this trick too. Take a little bit of water and moisten your string. I'm just dabbing it out of my drinking cup, and then just gently pull that down and dab up any excess water. Don't worry about the water. Your pencils are wax. It'll sit on top. Everybody see that? Zoom out. And one last thing I'm going to do here. Again, I've got something coming in tomorrow for these buttons, so sit tight with that. And one last thing I'm going to do, let me see something here. I'm going to add, zoom in, a little dab of glue. Hold on, let me dry that. I'm going to add a little dab of glue over the top of the hole. Why? Because I want to reinforce that paper where that string is. Now, I don't expect really any pulling on it. Some people frame their pieces, some put, you know, I put mine in little notebook slider things. But I just want to reinforce those, okay? Again, not really worried about the glue, excess glue, it'll dry clear. All right, I'm calling this one done, except for the buttons. Any questions before I move on to the next project? Zoom out. I'm going to put a little more tape on here, glue. And I'm going to let the glue come down the string just a little bit. And that will make sure that my string basically stays put. But I'm only going to put it a little way down, not much. There you go. And then wipe off with as much glue as you can. Again, I know it dries clear, but still. Zoom out. Yes, the hair I blended. Remember, I put the light gray on it as the base color, a grayish black. And then I put black on there, and then I put blue. Oh man, I think we got a good do on the on this little guy. And I'm so proud of you guys, because I noticed as I was doing this picture, you guys started thinking outside of the box. And the reason that I'm deliberately letting the key and the necklace hang across the satchel is because that gives it dimension, right? And it gives it layers. So we've got all sorts of layers going on this. All right, anybody have any questions or comments on this piece before I set it aside? And yes, I will still spray this with my Krylon Fix Tiff. I will trim the edge from the book, from the magazine. I will spray it with the Krylon Fix Tiff. And what I'll do is I'll tend to hold it out a little bit so that the keys don't lay against the surface when I spray it. You know, it doesn't really matter, guys. You can flip your keys up and spray, and then flip it down and, you know, just finish off your spraying. Alright guys, I hope this gave you some ideas. One other thing I want to show you or tell you real quick. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, this key on his belt, I'm actually kind of sorry I didn't do it, is we could have poked a hole here and here and put some string through, right? And then hung that key off the little string. Everybody see what I'm talking about? So that way, by putting the hole there and there, it would make it look like it was dangling off the belt. So there's another idea for you. Does that make sense? Oh, I see a little area where I didn't put some gray. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Gray. Hold on. I missed this little spot in between his arm. So I'm just going to take a pencil and just fix that real quick. Zoom out. Zoom out. Anybody have any questions about the technique that I use, that I've allowed the lines here, that I poked the hole in the paper, tied the little bows to the black lines. Now, if you want to fix your lines, by the way, take your protractor and a pen and run it along the edge. And that'll fix any oopsies. Alright guys, I'm going to move on to the next piece. Hope you learned a few things, and I hope it gave you some ideas. Alright. I'm having too much fun with this piece. Okay. Next piece. Zoom out. This is a freebie from Klara Markova. I have pre-sprayed it with Krylon. And I am ready to roll. I am ready to roll. All right. Paper towel. Now, we have a little buglet on this too. Zoom in. Zoom in. So, we'll see, but I'll probably use one of my ladybugs on here. But we'll see, because she's got a longer version of it. And if anybody's wondering what that is, zoom in. Those little wings come out when ladybugs flap. Kathy, you know, you said when I poked the hole in the paper you were getting nervous, didn't want the paper to rip. I just gently rotated the toothpick. If it rips, you fix it with glue. No biggie. Okay. Now, I got to looking at this piece. Does this look like little... Oh, here's another ladybug. Does this look like little eyeballs to you? Or is that just me? I think they're eyeballs. And I'm going to treat them as such. Oh, yeah. Zoom out. So, in that case, I was thinking about doing these eyes green, but I'm going to do them blue because I'm going to have green leaves. So I'm going to do her eyes blue. Zoom in. Zoom in. I love the little heart in her eyeball. Isn't that cute? In the pupil, I should say. So don't forget how, now this is how I do eyes. If you see somebody else that has a different method that you like better, have at it. I've told you a bazillion times, I have no ego with this stuff. Alright, marker pen, water-based marker, lighter blue, along the bottom. Now, I want you to notice something here, and I want you to watch. I'm going to go a little extra strokes on this side of the eye. And do you notice how this is lighter now because of it? Don't worry about that little paper stuff coming up. Brush it away. Got a little bit of blue where I didn't want it. It's all right. If that happens, you can always use your Arteza pen to fix it. Oh man, I'm just spreading it all over the place. Be careful with your markers, guys. Let them dry. Now, this is a bigger eyeball than what I've colored on before. So you can take now an even darker blue. Watch this. You can take an even darker blue, which I'm happening to use as a marker, and you can go ahead and put that up near the top. Now you want to dab that with your finger because you don't want that to be a solid line. See that? So we've got 3 blues working on that eye. So let me do it again for you. Darker blue on top. Now this is my medium blue at the moment, based on how I'm doing this. And then I'm going to put my marker as my next color. I would even go ahead and push it around with your finger like I've shown you before. And that'll blend into this other blue here. And then I'm going to take my marker on this side only and darken that up a little bit. Now, those little black dots there, that's paper coming up, so you got to be careful. And I'm not going to brush it right away like I did last time. And then I'm going to take my darkest blue and blend that in at the top to add even more dimension. There you go. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now, if you screw up like I did, I'm going to take my Arteza pen, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, and I'm going to go ahead and touch up below that eye because it's white anyway. So I'm just going to dot out that blue. Now, if that blue should happen to seep through the white, which it may, I'll come back later and put another layer. See how I fixed that? Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. And as I always tell you, I did that mistake on purpose to use it as a teaching technique. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. Okay, I'm just blending that darker blue in a little better. Okay. And yeah, I got a little blue on her skin. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'm good at doing that. You guys know that by now. That's my little signature move. Okay, now I'm reading this as being all sorts of little eyes up here. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. So this is going to be interesting and fun. So I'm going to use pencil on the tops. Let's see how I want to do this. Zoom in. Wanda's saying acorns. We're going to have fun with this and do wonky. Hello, Wanda. How are you? Okay. Let me get this rolled the way I want. Zoom in. So I'm going to be different with this. And notice that I'm placing the blue where I perceive is the top of the eyeball. And then I'm going to take the little tip of my marker because it's got the larger and the micro tip. And I'm going to put in that lighter blue. Why not? You guys can make them acorns, I'm making them eyeballs. Whoop. Cool beans. You've been listening to me, haven't you, Kathy? You know I use that phrase a lot. Cool beans. All right. Let me get you over where you need to be. Okay, I think I got everybody. Zoom out. Oh, you've been saying cool beans since grade school? Yeah. And where are you from, Kathy? Cool beans. Little tiny teeny lighter blue at the bottom. Rolling Meadow, Illinois. Okay, Illinois, excuse me. Illinois. Zoom out. Oh, this is going to look interesting. Okay, now, zoom in. Let me see here. Hold on. Oh, Sandy's been watching all night. Some kind of glitch won't allow her to comment. She says hi to everyone. Hi, Sandy. Thank you for letting me know, Wanda. Wondering where you were. Sandy, pull out of Facebook and then go back in and try again. Zoom in. Okay, now, let's see if I can pull this off. I'm going to put a white dot in the black area. Oh gosh, it's working. Everybody see that? Oh, she's tried all those things. Okay. Sandy, I don't know if you're on your computer or your phone, but reboot whatever you're on. If you're on your phone, reboot it. See if that helps you. And I had a heck of a time getting online tonight. It took me 3 starts. Everybody see these little dots I'm putting on my eyes? Oh, she tried that too. Okay. More than one device is giving her the error. All right, it's Facebook. Now, try to do your white dot so the black is still there, because that's the point. Ha, I did it. Zoom out. Zoom out. Look at that. Zoom out. And Clarissa Stokes is having problems too. Hi, Clarissa. Okay, Wanda, thanks so much for telling me. What do you guys think of my eyeballs? Wanda's going, ILene, no! Oh, yeah. All right. So now I'm going to play with the leaves because I haven't decided what I want to do yet with the rest of the eyeballs. Oop. Okay, I have zoom out, zoom out. I have a pencil extender that I use as my pencils get shorter. I've shown you them before. They're great. Good things to have. All right, zoom in, zoom in. So I'm going to go ahead and, good Rhonda, glad you're back. And again, for anybody that's new, it's always appreciated. If we're chatting or you're chatting in the group and you need to step away, please just do a BRB, be right back. So Sandy, it's telling me that you're watching, but like I said, I know you can't comment. Hi Annie, where have you been? Annie Banani. And you guys who weren't here earlier, you really need to watch the broadcast when it goes to video. Right, guys? You're taking the road to get home but wanted to lurk and hear you. Okay. All right. Drive safely. Okay, so I'm taking my darker green at the base of the leaves. And guys, do me a huge favor. Please, please share this broadcast. Don't do it for me. Do it for people who might enjoy a little bit of companionship and just watching something fun. Where is this coloring page from? This is a freebie from Klara Markova. That was a freebie. Guys, I like my eyeballs in the trees. Thank you, Annie. Annie said she just shared it. Guys, I can't say this enough. Look, I do not zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. I do not receive income for this, and I'm not sponsored. And my mission is to invite people into this group who are lonely, are having issues with depression, who may live alone. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I do not personally benefit from this. Other than the fact my absolute enjoyment in chatting with you guys, getting to know you, getting to learn all about you. So if you know people that don't color, invite them anyway. Yes, and now we can talk about Annie because she's driving. Do you know that Annie got arrested last week? Oh. So I would encourage you, if you know people that are on their own and just need a little company, they might enjoy just watching. And hello to my South Africa group, the ladies coloring group. They tell me that they watch all the time, but they really can't join in because of the time difference. So ladies, thank you so much for your support. Okay. Well, Wanda, at least I don't have blood dripping from the eyes, right? Which goes back to a story for those of you that are new. I was coloring some gnomes one day on teacups, and Wanda suggested I make him look a little cheery. Translation, he's had a little too much to drink. So I did that. And then I got to another gnome page. What kitty are we talking about? Oh, there we go. Annie says, I am officially broadcasting live from her car real loud in Quebec City, Canada. Hello, Quebec. Hi. Love my neighbors to the north. Not just saying that. Join our group. We're fun. See, Annie, that's what you need to do, is just drive up and down the street while I'm broadcasting. So we got another page that had gnomes on it. And I started adding little touches of blood. One had a hatchet, and I put some blood on it, you know, red. And all kidding aside, I mean, it was fun. It made it look different. Free publicity. So she says real loud in Quebec City. What are you doing? Driving down the road with this blaring? Listen, nothing personal, but if you just stop by the, what do you call your police? Police? Hi, Tammy. Tammy Morgan. If you can stop by the police for this, I'm not paying your fine. Zoom out. Zoom out. All right. Look how cool that looks. And for those of you that arrived a little late, I did the eyes. This is the Klara Markova. It's a freebie from her. And I decided to make whatever these little acorns are or whatever, they look to me like eyeballs. So I'm making them eyeballs, which is why I made her eyes blue. Cool looking antennas with the eyes. Yeah. Oh, and she says, and we don't know you. But you know what, guys? In all seriousness, I want you to think about adding stuff. I mean, it doesn't have to be blood, but be playful with your pieces. Annie, what do you call your police? Gendarme? No, that's French. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. So Annie says, I'm just a weird looking girl listening to bird chanting, yes, in a car with pink wheels, blaring some lady's voice from the United States. Okay, lighter green on top, to the top of the leaf. You're in Quebec, not Quebec. Okay, fine, Quebec then, fine. I was speaking in generality, sweetie. Oh, by the way, Facebook dinged on me for playing the Australia national anthem. That's okay. Police and Sûreté de Quebec and MPs, military police on the army base. So Facebook said we are going to mute sections of your broadcast unless you own the rights. So of course I clicked yes. Honestly, guys, I think Facebook just does that to cover their patooties. So I just click yes, and then they don't bother me. Yeah, no, they do. It's a copyright issue. I mean, really, on a national anthem, I don't get that, but that's okay. Well, I get it. You know, the artists have to protect their work. Annie, you need to tell your all the military wives that they should be watching me. All right, everybody notice I'm putting the lighter green at the top. I'm just going to do this on this one tree for now, so you can get the gist of what I'm doing. And if you think those eyeballs look interesting before, look at them now. It's not a nowadays artist that will lose something. Well, I have mixed feelings about it, but you guys, when you post something, you have to have artist and the book. The first reason is the Facebook requires it. Do I plan on blending this with the colorless blender? No, because these areas are so small, I'm letting my wax pencil do that. Now, the larger areas like the shirt, hey Annie, listen, you have to hang around. Look, all you guys that are coming in later, I'm going to show you my little street urchin, my SteamPunk street urchin. I'll do that at the end of this broadcast. We had a lot of fun with that. Oh man, this looks so cute. Annie, the times that I would use the colorless blender is on bigger spaces like that shirt. Now, if you guys wanted to me, yeah, I'm on for another, well, technically speaking, I'm like 3 minutes to 10, but I'm going to run the broadcast a little later if you guys like. So you'll have to let me know. If you guys are going to stick here, I will be more than glad to stay longer. So I think I derailed my little choo-choo train of thought, which was the reason why I broadcast. Zoom out. Zoom out. I'm here for people. Okay, Annie says she'll stay. Rhonda says she's in. Zoom out. Wanda probably will. Wandy. Is because I want to bring some joy into people's lives. Okay, Kathy. Perfectly understood. Let me grab some water. And I want people to feel welcome here and relaxed. And like I said, you don't have to color. If you don't color, that's fine. Just come in and chat and have fun. And I see that Sandy's still watching but can't talk. Let's talk about Sandy. Okay, eyeballs. And we have a little buglet here, and I'll put on one of my new wood buglets that I showed you at the beginning of this program. Zoom in. So I'm going to concentrate on this tree since we're having so much fun with it. At least I'm having a lot of fun with it. Now, I want to show you guys something. Zoom out. Zoom out. This is just a little trick for you. Oh, Tammy says, you can, I can't talk either? Okay, you just did though. I can see you. Sandy can't make comments in the room. Oh, she's making a heart. You're funny, Tammy. Okay, when you guys have shorter pencils, good night, Kathy. I got these little, I guess they're what, whiskey glasses or whatever you want to call them. And what I do is I put my shorties in my glasses. And I put my glasses in front of all my pencil holders of the corresponding color. Good night, Kathy. Good night, Kathy. Good night, Kathy. So glad you were here today. So I put my shorties in my cup, and then that way I can just grab them as I need them. So there's an idea for you. So if you have a lot of shorties, that's what you can do. It's so funny, Sandy. It says Sandy is watching, but I know you can't chat. Okay, let's do the light brown on the tree. Zoom in. Zoom in. You guys at least need to stick around long enough to see what I'm going to do with these eyeballs. Okay, now I did not add the extra lines on the trees. They were already there to indicate the wood. Sandy says she's trying eyeshadow. Oh, good. You go, Sandy. Nice and light. Start light, then blend in your other colors. So I'm coming in with my light brown. Wanda, thank you so much for acting as the go-between. Hey, we make it work, you know? You know what I love about you guys is you support each other. And I can't thank enough you guys who have sent. Rhonda says she's using eyeshadow for flesh. Good, on a picture I'm working on. Yep. And I can't thank you guys enough for supplying this group with supplies off my wish list or sending a gift card. I so appreciate that. You guys know I buy a lot of stuff with my own money, no complaints, but it sure helps. And I really, really appreciate that. Even if you just send $1 to Amazon on a gift card. Okay. Yeah, Rhonda, that hobo that you're doing on that grayscale, beautiful. Sandy, take it easy with your eyeshadow. And don't forget to blend all the way up to your image. That's what Rhonda said that she was having problems with, is she left a gap. Okay. And now I'm taking the second brown, which is the darker brown, because what do I tell you guys? Always use 2 shades of your color on whatever you're coloring, or 2 different colors, so that doesn't count shading in darker with your original pencil. Anybody have any questions about that? And what that does is that gives you lots of depth and dimension. It doesn't make your coloring look, what, flat. See how I'm taking this next color below this knot and just running it this way? See that? That's all I'm doing. Zoom in. And then what I'm going to do is get a darker brown yet. And pop it into that little knot. Just a little bit. Excuse my hand, I got a short pencil. And then where I have the limbs that come together, right in that little V, I'm going to put the darker brown on that as well. Specifically near the edge of the tree. Sandy, how is that eyeshadow coming out? Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay, let me do something with this eyeball, these eyeballs, and then I will call it an evening. And again, if you missed the broadcast from the beginning, I highly suggest you watch it. But I will show you, I basically finished that boy, our little street urchin, except the buttons. And don't forget, tomorrow you guys are going to be directing me on the coloring. Okay. The eyeballs. Eyeballs. Zoom in. Zoom in. Rhonda says if I get nightmares, you're calling me. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to put little lines. Sandy says she loves using the eyeshadow. You go, girl. So I'm just putting little dashed lines on these just to emphasize. That's right, Rhonda, you do have my phone number because when you were sending that Amazon gift, you needed it. Okay. Yeah, Rhonda says she loves using her eyeshadow as well. Guys, you don't have to get chalk pastels. Please don't stress yourself about having to buy craft supplies, okay? Now, there are some basics that you need, but other than that, okay. I love the fact that I got away with that little, white part. Oh boy, I really want to stick that ladybug on there. Doggone it. Let 'em. Zoom out. Annie, are you out of your car yet? Okay, so if you were here earlier, you saw that I got these wood ladybugs in, and they're large, medium, and small. And obviously that the factory that makes these makes the colored ones. They accidentally slipped in a yellow one. I have a package of the color ones as well. So I'm going to get my teeniest, tiniest, I think that's my small one. They come in large, medium, and small. Large, medium, and yeah, there's the small. And they've got the little sticky pads on the back for you to stick them on. I pull that sticky pad off and I put the glue on. Please do not rely on the product glue. See, I get in these playful moods, and that's why I want to do this now. So I'm gonna pull that little sticky pad off. And then I'm going to put my little dab will do ya. Annie says she hears she parked her car for a minute. Why did you park your car? I want you to go on the military base, Annie, and broadcast this show. My broadcast. Zoom in. Okay, and I'm going to face my little ladybug in the same direction. That the artist had her hand-drawn one. Oh, you wanted to chat a little bit. Okay. Cool. So let me rotate this. Is that not ridiculously cute? How far away from home are you, Annie? Oh my gosh, guys, look at that. Zoom out. Okay, so I put my little squiggly lines on my eyeballs to make them look even more eyeballish. Oh, don't you love it when I invent words? And I think I'm going to start with a pinkish, fleshy color. Annie says a little further now, was driving in my new neighborhood. Oh, just to see before I move. Cool. How fun. Watching you glue a ladybug on a coloring page eating candy. Yep. Oh, I have little miniature candy bars. And after I broadcast, I unwrap those and eat a few. Do you know that we went this entire broadcast without talking about food? You guys feeling okay? And I hope you guys plan on being here tomorrow night. I get my check at the end of the broadcast. Ha! All right, zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, I'm going to go whole hog on making these look like eyeballs. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of fleshy color on there. Now, I get it that eyeballs are white, but that's not going to translate well for what I'm doing. Oh, Annie says, I hope I'll be able to attend tomorrow, having my second vaccine dose in the afternoon. Annie, when I got my shots, actually I had zero reaction other than feeling a little tired. But basically it was nothing. And if you're going to react, it'll probably be the next day, if anything. What happened to your first shot? Were you okay, your first one? Okay, everybody see how we got these colored up? I got the Moderna, actually. And Dawn was such a sweetheart. I had arranged with her that if I did have a reaction to it, she was willing. Oh, you were just fine after the first shot? Yeah. And Annie, they told me that that second shot is the first shot. It's the same thing. You're getting Pfizer. Okay. So you're just getting more of the same. There's no dose difference. Zoom out. Zoom out. Come on. Zoom out. Okay. Yeah, just see how you feel, sweetie. Okay. The ladybug broke my Zoom. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to leave those alone for a little bit. Excuse me, I missed one. And to promote the idea that these are eyeballs, okay, I'm going to take my flesh color and I'm going to color her up the same. Now remember, this is fantasy, okay? The ladybug broke my Zoom. You're funny. Zoom in. There we go. Tammy, you didn't have your second shot? Oh no, you didn't have any reaction. Okay. Well, some people do and some people don't. There's been a lot of debate going on about whether people should get a shot or not, and I looked at it this way. I felt that the shots were the lesser of two evils. Hi, Dorothy. I did not want to battle COVID, so I thought, I'll take the shot and we'll see. The only thing I did do is I waited a little bit just to see what the general outcome was. Zoom out. So that's why I decided to get mine. And everything that I'm reading now, this Delta variant is coming through. And the majority of the cases, I mean, Tennessee is skyrocketing in cases because a majority of people have not gotten their shots. We have a very low percentage. And the people that are going in now to the hospitals are unvaccinated. Now, could I get COVID? Yes. But again, everything that I'm reading is telling me that it won't send me to the hospital. And that's the point. Okay. Zoom out. There you go. Yeah, and that can happen, Wanda. Wanda says, just so you all know, I know a couple that had both shots months ago, and they are both sick with COVID now. Wanda, are they in the hospital? Let me round this eye a little bit. And you know, that's the crapshoot part of it. It's like anything else when you take a vaccine. Will you get a reaction? And that's why I said, even though I'm fully vaccinated, I could still get the COVID, especially this Delta variant, because people in Tennessee are not vaccinating. So I can only tell you what works for me. Okay. What do you guys think? So I've used the pink to indicate that the eyes back here, that these are eyes. And I'm still going to shade the very back part just a little bit. But I wanted to get this much done and show you. Alright, now before you split out of here, let me show you the other piece I've been working on. And remember, regardless of how wonky this looks, Annie, you didn't start a debate at all. We have casual chat in here. This is what we do. You know, we just express our individual opinions. Yeah, I wear my mask in the stores too. Okay. Take a peek at this, guys. Here, hold on. Zoom out. All right, here's our little street urchin. So for those of you that weren't here earlier, I went ahead and added these black lines. I used some twine to put at the end of the black line, and I threaded it through these little keys that I bought off of Amazon. They are metal keys. They're beautiful. Yeah, these are actual, I mean, they're heavy keys. Zoom in. You see that? Zoom in. Okay, so these are the keys. And I attached them to twine, and I made a bow and attached the bow to these black lines that I colored in. A couple suggestions were put twine on the black, color in the bars to look like twine. Lots of things to do with it. Zoom out. Okay. Now I'd already put the gear on that, and that's metal. Then I went ahead and I threaded some twine right through the paper. Let me see if I can pull this off. Okay. I put this on here so that when I flipped the page back over, I wouldn't get glue all over my page. I pulled string through the paper and I glued it down. Okay? Do not use tape, because tape will get old, and when it yellows, it can yellow through the paper, and then the front of your image is going to be ruined. Now, again, I only put this paper on here so that I could flip this over. So that's what that is. So I brought the twine through, I put glue by the hole, okay, and I hung the key on the twine. So this is loose, the keys are loose, okay, and I knew what you meant, clevet. We'll just pretend that's French. And then I had glued a key down, and I wanted you to notice that I angled it off. Now, I'm kicking myself because, zoom in, I could have put a little string through here at the top of the belt and the bottom and strung the key on that string and had it hanging from his belt. I may remove this key and carefully and string it anyway, but I wanted to show you that. And I want you to make sure that you understand, instead of hanging it straight down. Now, I understand with gravity it would hang straight down, but I thought for dynamic reasons I would have it hang off to the side a little bit. And I want you to think about stuff like that, okay? Zoom out. Zoom out. And then the other thing is, I was discussing about making the necklace for this key up here, which is fine, or a leather shoelace or ribbon to look like a belt. There you go. I love it when you guys start thinking about stuff like that. That is my whole point of doing this. As long as you don't get wonky and stupid with it, it's got to make sense. Otherwise, it's going to look like a kid did it, okay? And you don't want that. So, I wanted the key to hang down over the belt, and then that just gives us a whole bunch of dimension. So tomorrow, I'm waiting for one more thing to come in, and I'm going to take care of the buttons. Now, when I poked the hole, I just used a toothpick. Now, if you tear your paper, it doesn't matter. Just fix the tear from the back. Anybody have any questions or comments about this? And what I specifically want to know from you is, would you try something like this? And notice when I put the eyeshadow on the back here, see this, Sandy, I know you're watching. I put it next to the image. Make sure you get right up to the edge of it or else it looks funny. But notice how I added these little streaks. Zoom in. I deliberately did that with my eye makeup applicator. And I did it on this side as well. Okay? Zoom out. So guys, these are the kinds of things I want you to think about. I don't feel that this is too much. Again, be tasteful with your add-ons, okay? Anybody have any questions or comments? And yes, I will spray my Krylon fixative over everything. I mean, I'll pick this up and hold it up and, you know, do the spray. I might pick up the keys, do the spray. Doesn't really matter. All right, guys. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something tonight. So these are the two projects. All right, now don't forget, tomorrow night, I will pull the project and you guys will completely lead me how I color it. Okay? And don't go wonky with me about these eyeballs because I'm still going to be doing some other things with it. I hope you learned something. I hope you had fun. I hope you enjoyed everybody's company. And I will see you tomorrow. And again, that's going to be the guided coloring. I love you guys. I'm so happy when you make it. Please share this. Please tell your friends if you know people that are alone or having depression issues. It doesn't matter whether they can color or not. Let them look at beautiful things and listen to us have fun. Okay? All right, guys. Joyous, joyous coloring. And guys, please be kind to each other, okay? All right. This is ILene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILene Vick. And I am calling it an evening. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.